Hello friends, Intuitive Rene here, bringing you your weekly tarot reading, or actually I can't call it a tarot reading, your weekly reading for the week of the 27th of March through to the 2nd of April. Can you believe it? Month number 4 about to happen. And I have released, talking about April, I have released April Taroscope, so if you haven't already watched yours, do click through to my YouTube channel and you will see all the April videos. There is an individual video for each sign of the zodiac to give you detailed insight into what April is all about. But today we are looking, this particular video, we're looking just at a single week, 27th of March through to the 2nd of April. I have got cards on the table that we're going to start off with, and this is going to give us our theme for the week ahead. I have reprinted my Word of the Year oracles, and when I did it, I unfortunately printed them on opposite colors. So I used to start with green, but now green is the second section of words, so we're going to have to start with orange from now on and then move into green. So that is the Word of the Year Oracle, and I also have my Sacred Destiny Oracle as well. So those three are going to give us our theme for the week ahead, and then we're going to get into our animal reading, our crystal reading, individual elemental readings, and we're going to do our Q&A with Spirit. And then, for those of you on my motivated or activated channels, tiers, I should say, on my channel, please stick around at the end for a bonus reading, extra reading for you guys as well. So let's get straight into it. Let's have a look and see what is the theme for the week ahead. So we're going to start with the orange cards, give them a bit of a shuffle. We're looking for a single card from each of these piles, and if there's a single word on each of these and the words together give us our theme, then we will look at the oracle as well. Okay, and apparently taking that one over there. Let's shuffle the green ones. Feels weird to do the green second. So used to starting with green for go, but now we're going to do orange first and then green. Okay, so giving a shuffle, and I want to take, oopsie, that one over there. Okay, so let's turn them over and have a look and see. We have got magical. We've had magical before. We have got a magical self-care. Oh, I like that. Magical self-care. Now, because I have reprinted them, they're not glossy anymore. How fabulous is that? So I can actually place them anywhere on the table. So magical self-care, while I'm shuffling the oracle deck, let's talk about magical self-care. So you know what? Self-care is definitely a theme that's coming through at the moment. I'm thinking back to, again, the April Taroscopes that I have just recorded. And it was something that came up quite a lot in that particular reading. In my daily tarot readings that I publish into my Insight with Intuitive Rene group on Facebook, we've had self-care coming up quite a lot there as well. So it seems like we all need to be taking better care of ourselves, because we're so focused on doing, we're so focused on achieving, we're so focused at accomplishing, and we're so focused on other people's needs, wants, and desires that we do tend to neglect ourselves. And I think this is a message, that one is the one apparently. I think the message that's coming through so strongly from Spirit is that we mustn't neglect ourselves. Magical self-care. And we're not just talking about physical, okay? We're not just talking about, making sure that you diet and that you exercise, and, we're not talking about the physical. Magical self-care actually brings into it the emotional, the spiritual, the mental, all of those other aspects of yourself. And it's about doing just something small, something short, something little, something simple that actually brings about the self-care. It's not about any kind of 6-week program or, 6-week life-changing program or a weekend retreat. Self-care, magical self-care, comes about sometimes with just taking 5 minutes to enjoy a cup of coffee while it's still hot. That is magical self-care, something that I'd never really get to do. I'm always drinking cold coffee, always drinking cold coffee. I've actually convinced myself that I enjoy it. Let's have a look and see what comes through with this oracle deck that I have, or oracle card that I have in my hand. Oh, you see, so the magical self-care is actually coming through with forgiveness for us. And, immediately, this is not necessarily forgiveness of somebody else, but maybe it's forgiveness of the self. Maybe it's forgiveness of a situation or a circumstance within your life. It is forgiveness of things that have caused us tragedy, that have caused us pain, that have caused us, unhappiness. Magical self-care is when we forgive a person, a situation, or a circumstance, we allow ourselves to be free to move on and to have a bit of happiness and joy in our lives. So magical self-care and forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, and forgiving situations for hurting us, for betraying us, and for letting us down. All right, so our next portion of the reading is where we do an animal message, or we get a message from an animal energy. And I am working with the Spirit Song Tarot, because the Spirit Song Tarot has the most amazing artwork. Rene Cassidy is the creator, has the most amazing artwork, and each card, I mean, even though it is a full tarot deck, but each card is depicted by an animal. And the messages that come through from this are so gentle, so loving, and yet so powerful. And I love working with this particular deck when doing animal readings or getting a message from the animal kingdom, because I do believe in working with the animal kingdom. I do believe in bringing animal kingdom energy into our lives and into our reality. So when I do the animal reading, it's about really just which animal energy can we work with this week. What characteristics in animal energy is significant and important for us for the week ahead, and what characteristics, animal characteristics, can we sort of incorporate into our day-to-day? And apparently that is the card that I am choosing. So let's have a look. What animal energy is working with us this week? Oh, look, we have the chameleon. So I'm going to hide that for a second because I want to focus on the animal. I will show you that if you haven't already seen it. So the chameleon is amazing because he's forever adapting, he's forever changing, he's forever adjusting himself based on his environment, based on his circumstances. He's not waiting for his environment and his circumstances to adjust to him. It's always him doing the adjusting. It's always him changing, forever changing. Why does he change? He changes to protect himself. He changes to blend in so that he's not noticed, so that he's not seen, so that he can escape, so that he can get away unscathed, and so that he can, look after himself. Now, the Tarot Association is the Tower, and the Tower is about release and revelation. Now, the Tower in Tarot is normally not really a card we want to see. The Tower is a card we all want to avoid because we talk about tower moments in the tarot community, which is when our world comes crumbling down. But if you spot danger, just like our chameleon does, if he spots danger, he immediately adjusts himself so that he's not seen, so that he's not noticed, so that he can avoid the danger. So that's the part that I'm taking from this for each one of us this week. So let's be more chameleon-like. It means not standing out, not screaming and shouting, saying, hey, 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 here I am, here I am. But it's about being just less seen, less heard, less noticed, and just allowing yourself to blend. Okay, so this week it's about being calm, and I think that also ties so beautifully into magical self-care, doesn't it? And forgiveness, because sometimes things happen around us, sometimes events, circumstances, and situations unfold that we have no control over, and when we try and control them, when we try and influence what's going on around us, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. We're setting ourselves up for hurt and pain and tragedy. And magical self-care is saying, you know what, I choose not to go against. I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm just going to go with the flow, and I'm going to blend, and I'm going to adjust myself to the circumstances and to the environment, and I'm going to forgive the environment, the situation, and the circumstance for that. I love that, actually. I think that is really good advice for the week ahead. Okay. The next portion of the reading is going into crystal energy for the week, and you will know that for the last couple of weeks I've been sort of complaining about my crystal decks, saying that I wasn't happy with them and they weren't enough. So actually what I did last weekend, we had a nice long weekend here in South Africa, and Monday was a holiday, was a no work day, so I spent my weekend creating Intuitive Rene crystal cards. So it is a crystal deck that I purchased on Etsy and downloaded, printed, cut, and then I stuck a backing on, giving it my own name. So no, I didn't actually create the cards. I have somebody else has done the hard work, but I just downloaded, printed, cut, and put backings on. And there are 100. There are 100 crystal cards here, so I'm quite excited to work with our crystal energies, and the information given on each of these crystals is also really lovely. So I'm quite excited to see how these work, seeing as this is now the first time that I am using them. So we're looking for a crystal energy, a single crystal that we can work with for the week ahead, whether we own a piece of the crystal or not. We're looking for a crystal that we can think about, that we can meditate on, that we can maybe print out a picture of and keep it on our phone, make it as your wallpaper on your phone, and just to think about the properties and the energies of the crystal, almost like we do with the animal. So I'm going to take that one over there. So Intuitive Rene crystal cards, not created by me. Well, let's have a look and see what is the crystal energy that we have for today. Peruvian opal. Oh, how fabulous is that? Peruvian opal, and it says Peruvian opal reduces stress, we need that, and helps the wearer approach the future with a heightened sense of tranquility. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. It's all tying in so beautifully. It is also believed to help with issues sleeping, and it'll help you get the tension out of your body. It'll clear the unnecessary thoughts in your head. Its element is water. It's the heart chakra, and an affirmation that we can all use for the week ahead is I approach my future with a positive attitude. And Peruvian opal, I think, is stunning. So I do not have a piece of Peruvian opal, and I doubt very many of us do have. Only a select few. I mean, you can see what the crystal would look like. It's that blue color, and it looks like almost it's got multifaceted sides to it. It looks gorgeous. And Peruvian opal, with regards to reducing stress and helping the wearer approach the future with a heightened sense of tranquility, isn't that just magical self-care? Of course, because it's about being very aware of your senses, of your emotions, what you're feeling, recognizing that there are things happening around you that are not so fabulous, recognizing that there are things happening around you that may be complicated and difficult, and adjusting yourself to those circumstances and situations, but forgiving those circumstances and situations for what they're doing to you, for how they're influencing you, and the effect that it's having on you. And then it also says believed to help with issues sleeping, because if we don't rest, if we don't time out, we're not giving ourselves the magical self-care that we need. Love, love, love this, friends. Absolutely amazing. Right, so our next part of the reading is to get into the elemental reading. So if this is now the first time you're watching this weekly video, the elemental readings are basically do 4 separate readings, one for each element being the elements of fire, earth, air, and water. And I am grouping zodiac signs by their element and doing the reading for each of them. So all 12 zodiacs are getting a personal reading, but they are grouped into the 4 elements being fire, earth, air, and water. So our fire signs being Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, our earth signs being Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, air signs being Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and the water signs being Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So once you know which your element is, which one, where your zodiac falls into which grouping, you can go straight to that portion of the reading to get your personalized message for the week ahead on what you can expect, what the energies are going to be like. And to do the elemental readings this week, I am using a new tarot deck. This one arrived this week. Look how beautiful. It's got this beautiful gold glitter foil on the inside, across the top and the bottom. So this is an amazing, amazing deck. It is a very simple deck. It is a fully inclusive deck. It's got young people and old people and thin people and fat people, and it's got a little bit of everybody in it, which is really amazing. So I'm quite excited to use it for the first time. It really is just a truly stunning deck, the Zend Out Journey Tarot by Cassie Uhl, and she is the founder of Zend Out. So that is the tarot deck that I'm going to be working with today. I have given it a shuffle. It is a little bit glossy, but hopefully it won't be too bad. So let's get started with our zodiac readings, starting with the element of fire, and fire represented by Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So let's have a look for the week ahead. What's in store? What do we need to know? What do we need to be aware of for fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sag? Okay. And I'm going to cut the deck over there. Card number one that we have fire signs is the Queen of Pentacles. She's gorgeous. Love the colors. Okay, and we have the gorgeous Chariot. Look at him. Look at him, right? We're going to start with our Queen of Pentacles. I love how she's sitting barefoot on the ground. I love how she's sitting cross-legged, which means that she's got her base chakra really connected to Mother Earth. She's very grounded. She's very earthy. And the fact that she's sitting amongst the flowers, sitting amongst, the shrubbery around her, and to her solar plexus, to her heart chakra, she is holding this very big disc. She is nurturing, taking care of it, protecting it. She is looking after it, if I can put it that way. So she has almost withdrawn from the current activities and actions of whatever's going on around her to take care of, to nurture, to put her best foot forward, if I can put it that way, in taking care of what is really, really important. So she's quite oblivious to everything that's going on around her, and she's just really focusing on being logical, being practical, being mindful, and looking after the things that need looking after. So fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sag, this is clearly something that we need to do. Again, we to blend to our environment, and isn't that what she's trying to do? Even though she's wearing purple pants, she is still blending in amongst the purple flowers. And she's almost camouflaging herself and making sure that she is taking care of magical self-care, looking after, nurturing, and protecting herself and her situation and whatever it is that is around her. And connected to that, oh, isn't he beautiful? I love this. So the Chariot is the card of movement. I love how we have got the yin and the yang of the birds. We've got the black and the white of the birds. He is just charging ahead. He doesn't care who sees him. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He's like, I am moving, I am going, I am progressing on my journey, progressing on my life, and I'm doing it fabulously. And you know what? We can all learn from that, can't we? We can all take a leaf out of his book about just being truly fabulous, and regardless of what anybody is saying. Now, he's jumping over a river, or a little stream, however you want to call it. He's leaping, let me not say jumping. He is fabulously leaping over a little stream. And, he could have just walked through. He could have found a bridge somewhere, but he's going a little bit, I'm going to call it a little bit flamboyantly over the stream. We don't know how deep that stream is. There's a lot of information that we don't have. But the fact that he's choosing to respond in this way is basically saying that, maybe it's a little bit too much. He could have stepped quietly, comfortably, safely, easily, but he's actually chosen to leap. And when we leap like that, we don't have too much control over where we go, how we go. So he may be in being in the moment and enjoying the leaping and the bounding and the movements that he's doing. Maybe he's a little bit off course. Maybe he's making life overly complicated for himself. And the reason why I'm interpreting it that way is because the Chariot is the card of needing to be focused on your journey, needing to be very mindful of where you're going, how you're going, and all of those kind of things. Because if we leap slightly to the right, we may not cause too much danger or problems. But if we're now 1 degree off, 3 months down the line, your 1 degree now suddenly is 300 degrees off course. So we've got to make sure that our actions are not taking us slightly away from where we need to be. So elemental energy of fire, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. This week, it is about being mindful. It is about being very careful. It's about being very thoughtful of your surroundings, of your environment, and of everything that's going on around you, and making sure that your actions are appropriate for the activity at hand, and that it's not ever so slightly making you deviate from your course of action. Okay, so that is element of fire done, and I'm going to store the cards over there out of the way. We're now moving into the element of air. No, earth. Sorry, earth first. Earth is next. And earth energies are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. We're looking to see what's in store for you for the week ahead. What is something that you need to know and you need to be aware of for the week ahead? This is for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Element of earth. Card number 1 we have for you is the King of Wands. Love those colors. And we also have the Empress. Oh, wow. Okay, running out of space. Okay, so earth signs. We have the King of Wands. Now, Wands is the suit of fire, and you can see that with the colors and with everything that's going on here. Now, he's standing there, and he's sort of watching the flame. He's watching the fire, but he's also controlling the fire. He's controlling his passion. He's controlling his enthusiasm. And that's the interpretation that I get for you, earth signs, is that we need to control our passion. We need to control our enthusiasm. We need to control our desires, okay? And not always be so quick to make a big fire initially. Let's let it take a slow burn and let it build up naturally, because when it builds up naturally, it becomes everything that we need to. But understanding that you are very much in control, and that you are very much have the power within you to create and to ignite and to start and to flow and to all of those things that you need to. So I love that for you. And then we've almost got I'm going to call it a contradictory card, because the Empress, you know, here we've got passion and fire and enthusiasm and creation and all of that. And the Empress, I mean, just look at her gentle colors. Just look at her. She is like the perfect earth mom, and she is loving, and she is nurturing, she is taking care of, and she does everything from a place of love, from a place of acceptance, from a place of unconditional. Okay, so we've got purpose-driven, functional, enthusiastic, motivated, gentleness, peacefulness, loving, kind, compassion. So you can see that there's a bit of a conflict there. And earth signs, you know, we know that our earth signs, that you're all very practical, you're all very logical, but you're all very big in your feelings, very big in your response, okay, in the way that you reply to, or the way that you respond to circumstances. So I do think when I look at these two cards for you, I think this is Spirit saying that as much as you've got this drive and this passion and this kind of things need to be done in a certain way, and let's do it now, and let's hurry up, and let's get it all done, there's that excitement to get things done. We also need to just slow down a little bit, and we need to be more gentle. We need to be more compassionate. We need to be more caring, loving, and considerate, not only of the situation, but of ourselves and how we respond to the situation. So we need to adapt, we need to adjust, but we also need to forgive and not feel this urgent drive to do stuff. And maybe we need to just go with the flow, and maybe we need to just be gentler, kinder to ourselves and to our situation and to our circumstances before we rush in like that. Okay, so earth signs, just be very aware of what you're feeling, be very aware of how you're responding to those feelings, and if needs be, just bring it back into balance a little bit. Okay, good. Earth signs done. Let's place them over there. Grab the tarot. Now we're moving into our air signs. So air signs being Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Let's have a look and see what the week ahead has in store for you. What do you need to know? What do you need to be mindful of for the week ahead? Air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Okay, cards are shuffled. And going to cut there. Card number 1 we have for you is the Ace of Wands. Beautiful. And the second card we have for you is the card of Judgment. You know what's fascinating me here is that out of the two that I've already done, they've all been a card and a major arcana in that particular order, and it looks like these signs are following suit. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, let's have a look. We've got the Ace of Wands. Now the Ace of Wands is about new opportunities, new designs, new ideas, new kind of energy, new kind of enthusiasm that's coming through. That blue snake, I'm not a snake person. I'm not a lover of snake, but that blue snake looks magical. Now, the snake is representative of quick actions, but it's also about shedding skin. It's also about self-protection. And the snake is also a magical being. And then we've got this huge big wand, okay, this huge big wand, and you can see this energy coming off the wand, coming out of the wand. Now, the snake is using the wand, okay, you have to use your imagination a little bit. The snake is using the wand and transmuting or transmitting its energy, its vitality, its creative juices through the wand and into the ethers. So basically what this is saying, signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, is that you need to act on your ideas. You need to follow through with your ideas. You need to allow your ideas center stage, okay? So don't hold back. Don't keep your thoughts to yourself. Don't keep your ideas to yourself. This is the week to start speaking out and to start sharing the ideas and the concepts and the things that you have that you've been wanting to do for a long time. It is going to require change. It is going to require you to be brave. It is going to require you to step out of your comfort zone. But if you can do that, you're certainly going to enjoy success. Now, I want you to note that the skylines are so similar here. We've got that pinky purple kind of skyline that's happening here. And here, this is singular, okay? The Ace of Wands is about singular. There is one snake, there is one wand, there is one concept, one idea, and one energy. Now we go into Judgment, and suddenly we've split into two. And there's definitely this split into two, with a single eye casting Judgment. So let's have a look at this particular card in a little bit more detail. I look at these two, and to me, they look exactly the same, okay? Their feet, they're like mirror images of each other. Their fingers are the same, their feet are the same, their clothing is the same, their hair is about-ish the same. Yeah, maybe not so, hey? The faces look the same, everything looks the same. We have the earth here, and it's almost like, okay, so I need to separate myself, because this is the way that I'm seeing it. I'm separating myself into a good part and a bad part, a positive and a negative, because we have all of those parts within us, don't we? None of us are perfect. None of us are pure evil. None of us are pure goodness either. We are all a mixture of good and bad. So the way that I'm looking at this card is that we've needed to separate ourselves, separate those two aspects of ourselves that bring us, that make us whole. And let's venture on the way a little bit, and we will eventually reunite. But we have to identify, we need to look at all parts of ourselves first. We need to make sure that we're being completely honest with ourselves with regards to who we are, the good and the bad. And only once you've really looked at those parts of yourself, only then can you come back together in order to go with these ideas, in order to live the life that you want. Now, bringing the theme into it here of magical self-care. So air signs, this is Spirit saying to you, the way to deal with your magical self-care is by being honest with yourself around your strengths and your weaknesses, your good and your bad, your, all those different parts of yourself, so that you can operate, navigate, and drive the ideas and the inspirations and the motivations that you have. So it is very important that you're truthful, that you're honest, that you're transparent, okay, with yourself, about yourself. So don't wait for other people to tell you, because that's just going to not work. You need to do this for yourself. You need to be honest with yourself around, what am I good at? What am I not good at? What do I enjoy? What don't I enjoy? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? All of those kind of things, okay? And you need to then allow that, once you've got that truth out, allow that to drive your creativity, allow that to drive your passion and your enthusiasm and your new ideas. But if you're not honest with yourself, you will try and implement your new ideas, but you will probably not succeed or have as much success, because you're not being honest with yourself around strengths and weaknesses. Okay, good. Signs, that is what the week has in store for you. Be interesting to see how that plays out. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have our water signs. Water signs being Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Let's have a look and see what the week ahead has in store for you. Week ahead for our water signs of Cancerians, Scorpios, and Pisces energies. Okay, cards are shuffled, cutting the deck. First card for you guys, oh, we've got the Death card, love it. And we have the 10 of Wands, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. All right, let's have a look at this dreaded Death card. So, we have a lady. She is dressed in a white dress, white representing purity, representing peace, representing whatever you want to call it. And it looks like she's floating upwards. I mean, she's looking up and everything happening below her, it's almost like she's returning to dust. Okay, that is the kind of feel that I get here. So she is leaving her body. She is transitioning and shifting from one state or form to another. And when she returns to dust, when this dust issue happens, she's going back to earth, isn't she? She's, you know, her physical ashes, her physical being gets put back into the earth as nourishment and as growth for the earth, for future plants, for future trees, for future whatever it may be. But it is about letting go certain parts of yourself so that you can elevate, so that you can move on, so that you can, you know, experience more. Now, in order to do this, we have to let go of a certain part of ourselves. So, water signs, Cancerian, Scorpio, and Pisces. This is clearly an indication that there is some form of change taking place for you this week. There is something where you have to let go of a part of yourself. And whether that part of yourself is an expectation, a belief system, a process, a mindset, it doesn't matter what it is, but it's definitely confirmation of having to let go of something, release something that you've been holding on to for the longest time. It's time to let that go. It's time to release that so that you are free to explore, to experience, and to evolve in whichever way you need to. I love that. And this is the why. Okay, now what we have over here is we have the tail end of a blue snake. And he's trying to move on this road, on this journey, on this pathway. But, oh my gosh, he's carrying these 10 sticks. I don't know what this is at the end of the stick. But you can see that he's got his tail coiled around it. It's hard, it's difficult, it's uncomfortable. He's struggling, okay? And he's been struggling for the longest time. I'm saying he because it's a blue snake, so I'm assuming blue is male. Forgive me if it's not, but anyway. That's just, I'm calling the snake a he snake. So water and water signs, by the way, the blue water signs, of course. So the snake has been struggling for the longest time. The snake has been trying to achieve this objective. This has been the objective. This has been the purpose. This has been the driving force, is moving these things from one place to another. Now, it's quite interesting. As I'm looking at it here, I'm almost feeling like it's an upside down bouquet, because if I turned it that way, I want to say that those are the flowers and these are the stems, but I know that that's not the case, but it's just suddenly I noticed it is an upside down bouquet. But the 10 of Wands is about how long and difficult and painful the journey has been and how we've struggled for the longest time. So basically, water signs, what Spirit is saying to you this week is that it's time to let go of the struggle. It's time to end the struggle. So whatever it is that you've been struggling with this week, let's just succumb. Let's just let it go. Let's not hold on to the difficulty any longer, because it's almost like your journey is done. Okay, the snake has arrived at his destination. He's arriving at the place that he needed to be. So it's now time to put this down. And you know what it's like if you've been holding on to something for too long? It's almost like your hands don't know how to let go. And it's like your hands are frozen in that state of holding on. And maybe this is exactly where we are. So water sign, Spirit is saying it's time to let go. It's time to let go of whatever it is that you've been holding on to, whether that be an emotional, physical, mental, whatever part of yourself it is. It's time to let go of that and to recognize that that particular journey is done. That particular experience is complete. You've achieved, accomplished, and learned everything you needed to. And let's bring our theme into it. We need to adapt, and we by adapting, it's about succumbing and letting go. We need to forgive ourselves and the situation and the journey for what it's done to us. And we need to believe more in magical self-care. And the best way to self-care in this issue is just to let it go. Because that's what the death card is saying, is the journey has come to an end. The experience, the learning, the lesson, it's done now, and it's time for you to move on to the next journey, the next experience, the next lesson, the next adventure in your life. But you can't do that if you do not release whatever it is that you're holding on to. Okay, so water signs, looks like it's going to be an interesting week for you indeed, and one that maybe might not be as easy as we would like it to be. All right, friends, next on our agenda is the awesome Q&A with Spirit. So as always, I have all the cues. I do have another whole list of cues that I need to still make into cards, but that will come soon. But let's shuffle. Right, so the way that the Q&A with Spirit works is we're shuffling a card of questions, and we're saying to Spirit, what is a question that maybe we've been thinking about? What is something that maybe we've been pondering, or what is something that maybe we should be pondering? What is a question that we should be thinking about, that we should be asking, that we should be looking into? Give us the question from this set of questions, and then we're going to use the little Buddha Tarot to get the answers to the question. So let's see, what is a question that we have been or we should be pondering and thinking right now? I thought I had a card, but I didn't. I'm always waiting for a feeling of which card it is, and I wanted that one right at the back there. Gosh, let's do it like that. There we go, that'll be easiest. That's a question that we are asking today. Let's have, oh, we got two. Okay, I had two, and I am going to stick with the top one. Let's have a look and see what the question is for our Q&A. Oh, look at that. Just a message from our higher self. I like it. So we don't specifically have a question, we just have a message from our higher self. And I have my little Buddha Tarot right here ready to go. And obviously, one thing that while I'm shuffling the little Buddha Tarot, when we're talking about a message from our higher selves, obviously each one of us, our higher selves are actually connected. Our higher selves are actually all one and the same. Whether that be from a understanding, from a soul, from a religious, it doesn't matter. You know, ultimately at the end of the day, we're all source, we're all one, we're all the same. So our higher self, so we're going really high up, friends. We're not just going to our guardian angels, we're not just going to our spirit guide, we're like going right up to the top. Okay, right up to the top, connecting with our collective higher self. What is a message from our collective higher self for every single one of us, questioning, asking here and today, for the week of the 27th of March to the 2nd of April? What is a message from our collective higher self? Okay, cards are together, and I'm going to cut the deck over there. Let's have a look. We have got the Six of Swords. We have got the beautiful Empress, I love her. And we have got the Page of Cups. Three absolutely gorgeous cards. So, message from our higher self. Six of Swords is talking about change. It's talking about progress. It's talking about momentum. But the Six of Swords is also saying that, you know, we know change is necessary. We know that we want to change. We know that we have to change. We know that we can't avoid the change. But at the same time, we're still afraid. Now, if we look at the artwork, the gorgeous artwork on the little Buddha Tarot. So here we have our little Buddha, and he's got his little friend Panda Bear with him. You can see by the expression on both of their faces that there's a little bit of fear, there's a little bit of nervousness. How gorgeous is this boat that they're traveling in? And here is our little friend who is navigating the boat, but look how the waves are behind them. You can see that, you know, the waters are very, very choppy. The waters are a little bit crazy. So there's fear, there's nervousness. They're happy to be leaving whatever it is that they are leaving, but they don't know exactly where they're going to. They're hoping and praying that it's better. They're hoping and praying that what they're moving to is better than what they're leaving behind, but they don't know for sure. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of uncertainty. And with the swells and the waves and the water behind them, it adds adds to that stress, it adds to the anxiety. So our higher self is saying to us that, yes, we all know that we need change. We all know that change is inevitable. We all know that we want it, and we're desperate for change in all areas of our lives. So we're not talking about us individually. Yes, we are talking about us individually, but we're also talking about the collective. We're talking about the global. We're talking about, within your home, within your city, within your town, within your country, within your earth. Everything. We're all in the same situation. We're all in the same boat, okay? Where we're so desperately wanting a better life, a happier life, an easier life, a simpler life. And we know that we're moving towards something, but we don't know what we're moving towards. And that may be causing us a little bit of stress. We're still doing it. We're still going through the changes. We're still going through the motions, but there's a little bit of fear. And that little bit of fear may be quite big. So we need to be aware of that. Now, the message that's coming through from the Empress, from our message from our higher self, is she's saying to us, you know what? We have to trust. We have to trust that all is going to be okay, because you know what? There is plenty in this world. There is an abundance in this world. There is happiness and joy. And we've got to understand what the point of life is. And the point of life is appreciation and acceptance for who and what we are. It's also about recognizing that love is the most important thing. And as long as we have love in our hearts, and as long as we have love in our actions, in our behaviors, and our things that we do, everything's going to work out. The Empress is all about love. She is all about abundance. She is all about life. And these foods that we have depicted here, the waterfall, the trees, everything that's going on here, the comfort that she's sitting on, it's all representative of love. And we have to understand that love is the answer to everything that we're asking, that we're needing. This fear that we have, this uncertainty that we have, comes from fear. And what is the absolute opposite of fear? It's love. What is the absolute opposite of lack? Abundance. And that's what we've got going on here. Now, this one is the one that I'm so excited about. Our Page of Cups. So our Page of Cups, he's enthusiastic. He really is. He's brave. He's still a little bit nervous, he's still a little bit apprehensive, but he's curious, he's brave, he wants to explore, he wants to experience, but he does everything with that childlike kind of imagination. He looks at everything from that childlike state of, wow, what's that? Oh, look at the pretty. Everything that he's doing, everything that he's feeling, everything that he's experiencing is coming from a place of unconditional love. He doesn't have fear. He doesn't believe. He doesn't know. He's not experienced any kind of negative. He's not experienced any kind of disappointment. So if you look at a young child who is exploring grass for the first time, at first they're a little bit nervous, like, what is this, what is this, what is this? But then they're really so curious, like sand and grass and animals and insects, and there's like no fear. And this is who he is, and this is how we need to be looking at life. So our higher self is saying to us, we need to let go of the fear. We need to bring ourselves into a place of trust, into a place of love, unconditional love. And we need to get enthusiastic and excited about the possibilities, the good that is out there. And we need to only see the good. We mustn't look at a little seahorse and imagine the negatives. I mean, I can't think of a single negative attached to a seahorse, but anyway, we need to change our outlook. We need to look at everything with a newfound wonder, a newfound expression, with a newfound excitement. And if we can do that and not carry fear with us wherever we go, it's amazing how we will change this world. And that is magical self-care as well, because when we carry fear and anxiety and stress and uncertainty with us, we create that world. When we learn to just trust and to love unconditionally, when we look at everything with that excitement of, who are you? What are you? Why are you? And what do you look like? And can you be my friend? When we look at things from that perspective, that's the world that you create. That is the environment that we create. So we need to move past this, and we need to move more into this environment. And that, friends, is a beautiful, beautiful message from our higher self. I love that. Absolutely love that. And I hope you do too. So friends, thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you so much for sticking sticking through, and I hope you've got and gained a lot from this particular reading. I know I certainly have. I'm now going to move on to the bonus reading for my motivated and activated channel members. So if that's you, stick around. We're going to get into your reading now. For the rest of you, have an amazing week with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.